Durag Wisdom here, and this is 21 days since the coup d'etat. And I keep insisting it's a coup d'etat, but I know I'm a minority of one. But that's the 21 days since we made one of the biggest mistake that we've ever done for this country. Greatest country in the world. And we've taken and we've made a horrific mistake. So now, if there's any hope, it lies with the proles, the proletariat. Now, that's a line from George Orwell's 1984. And in that novel, which makes fun of both communist totalitarianism and fascist totalitarianism, in that novel, ironically enough, the proles are at the bottom of the socioeconomic system that this sick totalitarian society has. The proles are treated like in the novel, there's a saying, animals and proles, or proles and animals, are free. So it's the attitude of the ruling party in 1984, as long as you keep the proles entertained, they're going to be putty in your hands. You can use them, abuse them, arrest those that are smart enough, that you think are smart enough, they're going to foment rebellion. You keep in this society, you keep that so-called middle class in check, like in prison, and then the upper class keeps everybody in line through all kinds of crazy stuff like continuous warfare and the like. Horrific, terrifying, oppression in this novel, Orwell's depiction of totalitarianism. And the proles, that makes up the majority of the people in this society. And as the main character, the protagonist, Winston Smith, keeps saying, if there's hope to overthrow this government, it lies with the proles. And then, of course, the proles are under control. What does that have to do with this modern-day totalitarian in waiting, this Adolf Trumpler maggot and his maggot crew of deplorable morons, fascist, right-wing, inhumane, Nazi trash? The proles today are the kids. They're the kids, the millennials, the young people. Hundreds and thousands of them out there. The proles are these working class, pathetic schleppers who get screwed by trade deals, don't know what to do, so they turn in desperation toward an idiot in red, white, and blue. That's a line from that I paraphrased from 7 Days in May. This is the tragedy of our society, that we turn to these kinds of people. But if there's any hope, it lies with the proles, quote unquote, from 1984 to present day United States of America under siege. The proles are, again, the young people, the oppressed people. And you must rise up. If you don't rise up, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't have dissent, we don't have protest, the like of which we haven't seen since the 60s. In fact, you should overshadow the 60s, because that was a hypocrisy. Because we of the 60s, what happened to us was we protested, blah, 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 but what was our legacy? Adolf Trumpler? Hillary Clinton? I mean, give me a break. And by the way, I'm sorry for putting Hillary Clinton in the same breath with Adolf Trumpler, but the fact of the matter is, you have an insider conservative who's supposed to be a Democrat for liberals running against an so-called outsider, which he's not. There's no say. The proles, the young people, the working people are now under siege, and you must rise up. If you do not, if you let yourself be entertained, if you sit in front of your television screens, if you watch that reality bullshit, if you let these people in charge entertain you, let your religion tell you how to think, con you into believing that there's going to be a paradise after you drop dead, if you're going to do that, this country's headed for the end. Fact, Proles. Calling you Proles out there, because that's my hope. My hope is for the Proles. Of course, proletariat, the worker, that's what that means in 1984. But here I'm using it as a more general, as an umbrella term for all the oppressed, for all the persecuted, for all the people that none of these power brokers really respect. Because if they would have respected you, they would have had Bernie Sanders running against Adolf Trumpler instead of Hillary Billary. So, Proles, young people, working, oppressed people, what are you going to do about this Adolf Trumpler who has conflicts of interests that you wouldn't believe, who doesn't have put his business into a blind trust, who hasn't yet revealed his taxes? What are you going to do, Proles, about all these extremist nominations that he has for his cabinet, for all these positions that we depend on, that he is now filling with the worst slime there ever is? What are you going to do about it, Proles? What are you going to do about Tom Price, the new Health and Human Services administrator, the one who kept challenging Obamacare 60 times. He wasted his time, wasted the taxpayers' money's time challenging Obamacare, challenging it. A doctor, no less, this moron, who wants to privatize Medicare, privatize Medicaid, and he wants to, of course, eliminate Obamacare so that we could be dependent on the insurance companies again. Here's a doctor, Dr. Price, that's now nominated to Health and Human Services. A doctor who does harm. Remember the thing, do no harm. The Socratic oath, do no harm. And here's a hypocrite, a doctor doing harm. How about who he's putting in charge of the Veterans Affairs? Now, I don't know the man's name yet, but he wants to eliminate. He's involved with wanting, along with the Koch brothers, to eliminate the Veterans Affairs, to eliminate the Veterans Administration, to privatize it. That's how much the Adolf Trumpler loves the veterans. Or how about this idiot they put in charge of education, who wants to have vouchers and charter schools, to destroy our traditional public education, to privatize everything. Let's go back to the Gilded Age of the late 19th century, when we didn't have any rights, when the rich had everything. There was no middle class, there was no unions. You go to work, and if you got your fingers cut off in a machine, it didn't make any damn difference. Let's go back to that time when there was no Medicare, nothing. You got GOP in there to want to cancel the entire social contract and feel they're going to do it because now they have their boy, their creature in there. And how about the four stooges of hate? How about Jeff racist KKK Sessions for Attorney General? How about Mike, what's his name? Steve, anti-Hitler, anti-Semitic, and Hitler lover Bannon for foreign aid? How about this prick, Mike Flynn, who considers Islam a disease, as another national security chief? I could see him sitting right behind Donnie Trump in a moment of anger, and he's going to say, hey, press that button, man. And that piece of garbage will. Where are you, Proles? If there's any hope, it lies with the Proles. Of course, in that novel, the Proles never stood up because they were manipulated. Manipulated, like this piece of garbage right now Donnie Trump is doing to all of you. What about that other piece of garbage, Mike Pence, VP religious extremist, Christian religious terrorist, homophobic? Make sure that women have to use coat hangers if they have to get an abortion. What about him? Pence, Sessions, Flynn, Bannon, Price. I was in Staten Island. I was at this Italian restaurant that just opened up. Great food. And, you know, I like to wish people Merry Christmas. I'm Jewish, and I'm an atheist, but I do like to wish, I've always wished people Merry Christmas. I have no problem with that. So I said, you know, hey, I don't like the Happy Holiday stuff. So the guy turns around and says, well, we don't have to worry about that anymore. We could say Merry Christmas from now on. What the F is that supposed to mean? And I told him, hey, I've been able to say Merry Christmas since as long as I can remember. I'm 66. I didn't want to start a fight with the guy, but I guess, oh yeah, man, well now I guess it's time for us, you know, we can say Merry Christmas again. I guess it's time we can wear our white sheets again and hang black people. Oh geez, we can get the oven started up again so we can burn Jews. What else can we do? Oh, put the Nazi armbands on. We can make people wear yellow stars or yellow crescents. We can open up concentration camps. Oh. Wonderful. Oh, yeah. And women can be raped anytime a man wants. And if she needs to get an abortion, F her. Where are the Proles? If there is hope, it lies with you. And you've got to stand the F up. We have to have dissent like there never was in this country. Just watch the news, folks. You're making a mistake. I hate watching the news. It's depressing. You gotta know what's going on in politics because these people are gonna screw you so bad, you're gonna think you were screwed by a train. And that comes from the Shawshank Redemption. I mean, I try to be honest. See this shirt? I have 5. I made 5 of these custom-made shirts. See, it says in the back here, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, I'm not a Trumpist. And here I got this here. I got 5 of them in case as I'm walking around here, somebody attacks me or tries to rip the shirt off. I will wear this with pride because this is the United States of America. And as of the election of this piece of trash, certain extremist trash, garbage, has turned my country, according to what Lawrence O'Donnell said, into a banana republic. If there's any hope, according to George Orwell in 1984, it lies with the Proles. Wake up!